Hey, what's up, beautiful people? A walking testimony here, walking across America for mental health awareness and recovery to remind you daily that you matter. We do recover. We walk in remembrance of our loved ones who are no longer with us due to mental health and or recovery issues, to let them know that they will never be forgotten and will always be in our hearts. We walk for the ones that are currently struggling with mental health and or recovery issues, to let them know that there is hope, that we do recover, that our past do not define us, and that we all matter and have value and purpose. We're out here spreading a little bit of light, love, kindness, and positivity as we go through different communities all around America. And we're also fundraising for nonprofit addict to athlete focused on mental health, recovery, education, and recreation, guys. We're not out here to beg for money or anything like that, but if you feel led, and only if it's in your means, guys, if you want to donate, go check it out. Even if you don't want to donate, we ask that you please give a like, follow, and a share to Addict to Athlete and to the Walking Testimony page. It's a walking testimony pretty much on all social media platforms, and walking across America and to all four corners of the lower 48 states, the northwestern point of Washington and the southwestern point of California, which we've already done. We're on a second coast to coast back to Florida to walk to the southeastern point of Florida and then up to the northeastern point of Maine. But what's up, guys? Kyndal Ray Edwards, mental health advocate, recovery coach, aka a walking testimony, walking across the country for mental health and recovery. Guys, I know I'm not the only person that's walked across America. I know I'm not the only person that's walked for a cause or anything like that. My journey is a lot different than a lot of people's other journeys. It doesn't make my journey better than anybody else's journey or anything like that. I'm not out here to compare and to compete or anything like that. Whoever's got their own journey, y'all are amazing, and congratulations on the incredible work, because this kind of journey is not easy. I get a lot of questions on a daily basis between all the different social media platforms. I have 2 Facebooks I'm running. I have an Instagram, a TikTok, a YouTube, and I'm posting on all of these daily, lots and lots of videos between my Instagram and both of my Facebook, lots of pictures. I'm meeting a lot of people. I've been doing more meet and greets lately and things like that. And the journey has continued to grow, kind of just beyond, my imagination, and the capacity of just people reaching out has been absolutely unbelievably amazing. It has actually gotten very overwhelming and overstimulating, but I'm trying to manage and work and adjust to it so I can have the best experience, while anybody who ever comes across me out there has the best experience, and that any person that I meet, shake hands with, high five, hug, or anything like that, that it's just a good experience. Because I'm not gonna lie, in the last over 3 years since I've started this journey, not every encounter with people have been perfect. I will say 99% of them have been great, but sometimes I deal with my own mental health issues, and that is what it is. Regardless of that, guys, there's a lot of people that have a lot of questions, and this is a rundown of the journey. So if you're curious about the journey, guys, or if you like this journey and you're already following, or maybe you're not following and you're curious about the journey, or anybody, or maybe you yourself has dealt, is dealing with, or anything like that, or has recovered with any mental health and or recovery issues, guys, please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you ever see it. It is a free thing. It's just like following on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. And if you see me on any of those platforms, please give a like, follow, and a share, guys. Only if you feel led, though. Please don't feel obligated in any type of way. Let's do a rundown of the journey. So this is something that I normally share, and it's a long typed out thing. I understand that not everybody wants to read that, so that's why I want to do this video. So I'm going to go through these questions, and I'm going to kind of summarize and talk to y'all with the rundown of the journey. The first question: who are you? Who am I? Guys, my name is Kyndal Ray Edwards. I'm 32 years old, born March 30th, 1993, out of Clay County, Florida, from Orange Park. That's the metropolitan area of Jacksonville. Jacksonville, Florida is a more known location over Orange Park, so when people ask me where I'm from, I do say Jacksonville. But Jacksonville is considered Duval County. I'm Clay County, and I'm just a couple minutes from the Duval County line, literally. So Either way, I'm from the metro area of Jacksonville, Florida. I am 32 years old. What are you doing? Kyndal Ray Edwards from Jacksonville area of Florida, who's 32 years old. Guys, I'm walking across, but it's so much more than just a walk across. I'm walking across more than once and to all four corners. Once again, the northwestern point of Washington, the southwestern point of California, to the southeastern point of Florida, to the northeastern point of Maine, on foot for mental health awareness and recovery. The main, this is the biggest one, guys. This is the biggest one. There is so many people struggling, but there are so many people that have lost their lives due to mental health and or recovery issues, and the statistics are absolutely heartbreaking. Any loss of a life to any of these things is absolutely heartbreaking, and it's too much. Since the pandemic hit and everything like that, and then fentanyl being put into the streets, the numbers have just absolutely skyrocketed beyond anybody's comprehension, man. It's just so sad. It doesn't make sense, and it's so heartbreaking. I do want to go ahead and show y'all one of the things I do on this journey to recognize the journey is I do walk in remembrance of our loved ones who are no longer with us. I do it in shirts with editions, different editions, and each edition is 180 names. This banner right here is the first 10 editions. This is 1,800 names, guys, of beautiful souls that are no longer with us due to mental health and or recovery issues. And even though they are no longer with us, they'll never be forgotten. They will always be in our hearts. They're out here getting the journey of a lifetime. Now, the 180 names on each edition specifically stands for taking a 180-degree turn in the opposite direction from those things that we that are taking those people that we love and care about, guys. In the last 18 years of my life, I have tried to take my life twice. I have OD'd. I've been in county jail 11 times, in prison twice. Once again, I'm 32 years old. I have 13 felony convictions and a bunch of misdemeanors. I do have a past, and right now, if because I have a past makes you want to turn away from this page, I completely understand. I want to let you know, no hard feelings from my end. I don't care however you might feel about me, but I love you and I care about you, and I'm so thankful that you're here today. If you were to go look me up, guys, I do have a record. I do have a bad past. You're not going to find the most prettiest thing, but my past does not define me, and there is hope. As of May 12th, 2025, I was 73 months drug-free. I decided to change my life on April 12th, 2019. Guys, so many people are no longer with us, and my name should be on these editions over and over and over again, but I'm so thankful to still be here, and we want to let our loved ones that are no longer with us know that they will never be forgotten and will always be in our hearts. And we're out here letting the people that are currently struggling know that they don't have to end up as a name on this shirt, on this banner, that there is hope, that we can turn it around. There is so many people that feel hopeless, and we want to let people know that they care. So, that's why I'm walking across America, guys, to let people know that they matter and that we do recover. I am a bit of a motivational speaker. Now, it's not like I'm getting paid to go to big events or anything like that, and I do hope to make a career out of motivational speaking. Now, between different organizations and events and things like that, I have probably spoken more than 40 or 50 times between a bunch of different events. I've probably been on the news over 34 or 35 times, somewhere around there. I've been in a lot of newspapers and things like that. I might not be the biggest viral journey or anything like that, and that's okay. But I am an intimate journey. I am a personal journey. I'm one of those people that takes my time to try to meet people. And don't get me wrong, and I'm so sorry to anybody who might have had a bad experience with me in the past. There has been times people have pulled over and I'll be live streaming it, and I might sigh or I might get upset, or somebody might not stop in the right place and I might get mad at somebody. I am far from perfect, guys, and I am trying to better myself on a daily basis. I do recognize and acknowledge when I mess up, and then I try to make it right as soon as I can. To anybody who's ever had a bad experience with me, I am so sorry. I know I'm not perfect, but I am passionate about what I do. And even though I do not have all of the answers to mental health and or recovery, if you're following this journey thinking that I can change your life, then you're following it for the wrong reasons. If you are following it because you are inspired and maybe it puts a spark or ignites something in you to want to make a positive change in your life, then that is amazing. And I can't wait to see what you do, and I hope that you share it with me. To anybody that is struggling, that feels like there is not hope, I promise you that there is hope. Hold on, pain ends. Now, sometimes it might feel like pain might never actually go away, but it can get better. We can learn to live lives a little bit better, even through the trauma, even through the hard things that we've been through. And I really mean that. And that's why I'm walking across America. Not to act like I have all the answers and the solutions, guys. I made a positive change in my life, but the way I did it, or however I did it, might not work for everybody, and I understand. And this is the thing, in recovery, to me, is open to interpretation for many, many different things, not just like substance abuse or different things like that, because there is people in recovery that don't use substances, but maybe they have a drink here and there. But you can't say that it's okay to an alcoholic that might struggle with drinking but doesn't struggle with other stuff. Guys, it's never okay to do anything in excess. Ever, ever, ever. Even the things that are legal for people to go do, guys, because drinking is one of the most dangerous things out there. Guys, I've met so many people, I've seen so many little memorial markers on the side of the road to people that have lost their lives due to drinking and driving, even though it's one of the easiest things to access. I was never an alcoholic, and I'll explain a little bit about my recovery. I was never an alcoholic. I could go out and have a drink and be okay. I personally just don't like the taste of alcohol. I won't lie, guys. Like, when I say drug-free, I say drug-free and not sober for a reason, and I don't want anybody to misinterpret that and think that I'm making that excuse to go do a bunch of crazy stuff. No, I'm not. But when I say that, I have had a drink at a restaurant on this journey, before the journey ever blew up. At one point, as the journey was getting bigger, I was at a Chili's or something, and I thought about ordering a drink. And I'm one of those people, guys, if I even start to get a little fuzzy-headed, I'll put it out. But I really don't like the taste of alcohol. I don't like it. It does not excite me. It does not make me think, oh, I want to go have a drink. But as this journey grew, I was in a restaurant about to order a drink, and somebody comes up to me and recognized me, and I said, oh my gosh. And after they walked away, I was like, what if they're an alcoholic and they see me get a drink and then I become their downfall? So now I don't even do that anymore. And that's kind of where I'm at with that, guys. I've never put a needle in my arm. I was never addicted to pills. I've never addicted to heroin or anything like that. I tried meth twice. I loved it so much, I never let myself do it again. My biggest addiction was my last year and a half of high school and coming out of high school, which I was locked up here and there in that, so it wasn't one straight constant thing, but it was literally over-the-counter cough medicine from pharmacies and synthetic the synthetic weed that you used to be able to buy at gas stations, that just fake herbs with chemicals sprayed all over them and stuff like that. That was my biggest addiction. I used to do a lot of hallucinogenics and things like that. That's just not my style anymore. I just could care less about doing that. And this is the thing. Almost anything that you can go do now is being cut with fentanyl in some type of way. And all it takes is the first time relapse or the first time user using that and it being cut with fentanyl and you never coming back. And it is heartbreaking. And I just showed you a shirt and a banner with tons of names that back the facts behind that up. And it is so sad. But it's happening. And we just want to shed some light, guys. But recovery, guys, you can be addicted to caffeine. You could be addicted to food. You could be addicted to working out, different things like that. Add it to athlete, who I'm fundraising for, who I've done podcasts with and took a recovery coach class through and different things like that. Their motto is erase and replace, which is erasing the negative things out of your life that are leading you down a path of destruction or to an early grave, basically, the things that are killing our loved ones on a daily basis and destroying families and relationships, and replacing it with positive things to better ourselves, and healthy things to become the best versions of ourselves, because we don't just really throw an addiction away. You got to find new ways to cope, new passions, new things that you love, and better yourself, and put your time and energy into that instead of running and chasing all the things that were destroying your lives. Guys, whether I was high or not, I was doing crime. And it wasn't just to go get high. The crime was the high. Every time I kicked in a door, it was, sometimes I would steal stuff. Sometimes I would buy some drugs or something with the money. But most of the time, the second I was through the door, that was the high. Whether I was getting high or stealing anything or not. Guys, I've literally broken into houses, made myself sandwiches, done my dishes, and left. You know, I fed people's dogs breaking into their houses. Little dogs. I wouldn't do a big dog. But I don't live that kind of lifestyle anymore at all. But that's why I'm walking across America. When did you start the journey? So I started the journey January 1st, 2022 with my feet in the Atlantic Ocean. I only count the days I walk on the days that I actually walk. So we're pushing like 3.5 years in on this journey, and I only have 735 days actually walked. Today's day 736. And that's literally 2 years and just a few days in actual walking in the last 3.5 years. I do take pauses, I do take breaks here and there, but that is what we have done. Where am I going? I'm going all across. What I already have walked is Jacksonville Beach, Florida, with my feet in the Atlantic Ocean, starting January 1st, 2022. 13 states, 3,292 miles diagonal. Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado, Utah, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. Put my feet in the Pacific Ocean April 12th, 2023, which I told y'all earlier, April 12th, 2019 is my my actual clean date. I was April 12th, 2022, I hit my 4-year drug-free date, putting my feet in the Pacific Ocean. From there, I did take a little break. My beautiful girlfriend, who I met on the journey, walking through her city of Oklahoma, Enid, Oklahoma. Paige, love you, baby. She actually... I had to take a break for a couple months. I got a hernia in Alabama, walked to Colorado with it. It got so bad that she had to come pick me up. I had surgery or whatever. But either way, after I finished Coast to Coast, I went and hung out with her for a month. I went back because I just felt unfulfilled. I knew I needed to do more. So I said, you know what, I'm going to walk up more in Washington and just kind of figure out what I want to do. So I ended up walking up the Highway 101 in Washington. I walked to La Push, Washington, hiked the beaches down there, walked over to Cape Lava, Washington, which is the true western point. Some people say Cape Blanco, Oregon, which is known as the most western point of the states, but the true western point is Cape Lava. Went up there, hiked some of the beaches, then I walked up to the most northwestern point of the lower 48 states of America. We're not talking about Hawaii and Alaska, we're talking about the lower 48 states of America. Northwestern point, Cape Flattery. From there, I turned around and then I walked the entire West Coast back down to Borderfield State Park, California, and then from there we walked. And that actually completed at 5,503 miles, and then I walked 7 miles from Borderfield State Park back to Imperial Beach, where I started part 3, the second coast to coast, with my feet in the Pacific Ocean to walk back to Florida. From there, we walked to Las Vegas, the Grand Canyon, the Forrest Gump Point in Monument Valley, Utah, to the Four Corners Monument where the 4 states touch, which I think it's Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico, I believe. And from there, we did like over 660 miles alone in Texas. Walked through Louisiana, down, and here we are currently in Biloxi, Mississippi, where I'm doing this video here at the Golden Nugget Hotel. But either way, that is where we are going and where we have been so far. After I do the 4 corners of the lower 48 states of America, and maybe even somewhere in between, if the fundraising happens right and I can put things into play, I'll even take a break because this journey's not a rush, guys. I'm trying to take advantage of more opportunities, meet more people, do more speaking engagements. Like if I got to pause tomorrow to fly out for a speaking engagement to share my story and talk about mental health and recovery, I'll pause tomorrow and go do that. That is more important than the walking itself. I have over 8,100 miles walked across the country in the last few years. Yes, there's a bunch of people that walk across America. Not many people do it on the level that I do it. And even the people that do, a lot of them, yes, they meet people and hang out and stuff, but I spend that as a majority of my time actually trying to connect with as many people as possible, encouraging people to come out and meet me. And that's where mine is definitely a bit different than other people. The journey hasn't, I got a lot of followers, don't get me wrong, and it's taken a long time. It hasn't like just immediately blown up like that. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't care, guys. I'm just out here to let you know that I love you and I care about you, and I'm thankful that you're here today. So, another big question is, what made me want to walk across America? Okay, I was originally inspired, so y'all know I have a past. I've already mentioned that in the video. In 2013, I was doing a year in the county jail for pawning some stolen stuff, and it was quite a bit of stuff I had pawned and stole. Sadly enough, I was not a good person. Thank God for recovery. Thank God our past will not define us. We do recover, and we all matter. Either way, guys, I came across this newspaper article titled "America on Foot" about a guy named Harrison Melanian who had walked from Tallahassee, Florida to Laguna Beach, California. I saw pictures, kind of like what I post, of people that he had met at some restaurants and stuff like that. I fell in love with the story. I was like, man, I got to do something like this. I want to get in touch with this guy when I get out. So early 2014, I get out of county jail. I find this guy on social media. I find his Facebook page, and I send him a message, and I told him I love the journey. I would love to do something like that. He responds a little bit and encourages it and says it's a life-changing experience for the better for anybody who's physically capable and just in the position to go do it. The only thing he would recommend is walking for a cause. So I tried to put together a walk for two totally different causes to take off January 1st, 2015. Sadly enough, that didn't end up working out. January 1st, 2015, I ended up breaking into a post office and going to prison instead, which was crazy because the post office didn't have any security systems or cameras, but the FBI, the Secret Service, all these cop cars and canines show up. It was nuts. And it was in the retirement community of Penny Farms, Florida. Whatever. So I go to prison, ended up getting out of prison on probation, violate my probation 3 times. I was paying my fines and stuff. I did have a little issue, but I was paying my fines, working a job and stuff. My judge ended up dropping my probation with a year left. Ended up back in his courtroom just a couple months later. For me and 2 other people kicking in a drug dealer's door and then stealing some other stuff, and I ended up catching 5 years in prison. And hence, all that just led up to me not actually taking off on this walk, but I was originally inspired by Harrison Melanian, who had walked across in 2013. I fell in love with the story, and like he said, it's a life-changing experience for the better. Highly recommended, and I highly recommend it to any of y'all who might ever get the opportunity. And sorry if some of it's a little bit repetitive. So somebody has asked, one of the questions is, what kind of problems have you run into? Guys, I know I post a lot of the awesome stuff. I try to steer away from the negative because there's always a lot of heartbreaking stories that do come with this journey with just loss of loved ones or struggles with mental health and or recovery. I have run into a lot of issues. One of the biggest issues that I ran into, I mentioned a few minutes ago, I got a hernia. So prior to working out, and part of me changing my life, guys, and my depression as I was younger, is I used to be a really heavy-set kid with no self-esteem or anything like that. Years of running the streets and doing drugs and sweating out all the toxins every day and different things like that. I had lost a lot of weight, so I'm back in prison doing 5 years. I gained all this weight, and this guy who was my buddy in prison and this bunk next to me, we would chat all the time, hang out, eat meals together and stuff like that. But he ended up calling me BBK, which stood for Bad Body Kyndal, because I gained all this weight and I just did not like it. but I was still being invited from him and a couple of the other most elite workout people on the compound that I was at. One day, way into the future, I ended up joining them. I couldn't handle it anymore. I didn't like myself. I didn't like where I was going. I wanted to try it. Started working out with these guys, and I changed my entire life around. This was around that April 12th, 2019, around that time. I had actually started working out with them just a couple weeks before that, but within a couple weeks of working out with these guys, it was me changing my life. My dad finally came to visit me after a couple years without seeing him in prison, and we finally started making that change. So one of I'm saying that to lead up to my favorite workouts was burpees. And when I say I did burpees, I used to have videos, and I might have them somewhere, of taking that to the extreme. I made up my own types of burpees where I would jump up and touch my legs and spin in a circle straight to the next one, spin it. I would go nuts. There was one point when I had pushed myself so hard for a year and a half in prison that I tried to do 200 burpees straight, and then I did it. And then I went for 300 burpees straight with taking like a quick pause second, like taking your foot back, pause, going right back into the next burpee, 300 straight. That had to, I was literally moving to the right because there was puddles of sweat under me. But I pushed myself to limits I never thought possible. So with that, my first 2 state lines, I was doing burpees at the state lines, pushing this cart, which at the beginning of the journey, trial and error, learn as you go. This cart used to weigh so much, probably over 150 pounds at one point. Pushing that and just not treating myself right and doing burpees and all this extra stuff, I had ended up getting that hernia, which it wasn't bad enough for surgery. I had paused for a week and a half. I went to the ER in Alabama, ER in Florida. They both told me the same thing. By the time I had made it to Colorado, it had got so bad, and it hurt so bad that I ended up getting I qualified for emergency Medicaid at the time, which was able to get me the surgery. And so I was able to have the surgery, paused for a couple months, healed up. One of the other challenges of the journey was walking through the snow. I paused on day 208, sometime in August of 2022. I picked back up November 9th, 2022 on day 209 of the journey in Manitou Springs, Colorado. The very next day, I saw snow fall out of the sky for the first time, and then I walked through the Rockies of Colorado in the snow. And that was a big challenge, but we made it through safely, and that was incredible. Guys, I've had broken carts, I've had broken wheels. I haven't really had many bad encounters with people, but at one point earlier on in the journey, and this was even before I met my girlfriend, I met some people that matter so very much, but it was just a whole crazy situation. And when I say that, my cart ended up being in the back of somebody's truck after a bunch of issues in that day, and I volunteered for these people to stay at my hotel room so they didn't have to drive an hour and a half back to where they were headed because of all the issues that I ran into that day. Long story short, I ended up bear macing this guy twice. He ended up stealing this girl's truck that my cart was in the back of, taking it back an hour and a half into another state, and then taking my hatchet that was in it and breaking almost all the spokes on one of my rims. Cops ended up, it was all recovered. I ended up getting my stuff back. There was a couple things stolen that I never got back. That is what it is. At least I got the cart and most of the main stuff. A lot of the main stuff was already in the hotel room, but the cart itself was in the back of her truck. That was one of the big issues. I've had a few broken tires here and there, only twice, which it shouldn't have happened at all. Twice I've had a hotel, and this was in California, and it was not in Southern California, where you would think it was, but there was 2 hotels that denied me service for having a cart and looking like I do, even though I had a credit card and I have an ID. Guys, if for any of y'all are wondering, I am employed, which is one of the questions. But, the hernia, things like that, snow falling, I've walked through hailstorms and thunderstorms and just all kinds of bad weather. Guys, I've had a lot of blisters. I've walked out of a couple different toenails. let's see, I've climbed 1,991 feet in elevation in 9 miles, pushing that cart up a mountain in the snow. My biggest climb was a 20-mile day, 2,500 feet pushing through the desert. That was nuts. Through the desert, heading to California, heading to Nevada. That was a wild day. Camping a couple days and like almost getting heat stroke out there in the desert. That was pretty nuts. Coldest temperatures, Leadville, Colorado through the Rockies, -11 with negative 18-degree wind chill. Snow on the ground, 10,200 feet, the highest incorporated city in North America. That was pretty challenging. Just all kinds of stuff, guys. All kinds of stuff like that. Another big question is, how many shoes have I been through? Guys, I have been through 19 pairs of shoes, and I will retire the 19th pair, I will retire the 20th pair and start on 21 here soon. My favorite shoe is Ultra, A-L-T-R-A, running shoes. Ultra Running is the brand. Olympus 5s and 6s are the styles. I've been using the 6s lately. They're the newer ones, and I absolutely love them. I probably put at least 500 miles on each pair of shoes. Since I started using these, a lot less blisters. But real quick, what works for me might not work for you. I am a very flat-footed and wide-footed person, so keep that in mind if you're thinking about going to get you some Ultra Runners just because I have them. Supplies I carry, guys. I have a tent. I have a sleeping bag. I have a bin full of clothes. I have a bin that has like my lantern. It has an extra blanket, a pillow, like a little hygiene kit. My hygiene kit's separate. I do have an awesome hygiene kit though. Big bag with all kinds of shampoo, conditioner, body wash, razor, shaving kit, comb, just Q-tips, all the good stuff, keep hand sanitizer stuff. But the bin has like a little first aid kit and just other, just little things that you might randomly need, tools and stuff like that. The bin of clothes, I got the hygiene kit. Got a backpack with my laptop and my notebook for writing, my shower slides, my laptop itself, a couple water bottles. I keep merchandise with me, guys. I actually sell bracelets. Of course, I have a bunch of different colors of bracelets. It might be hard to see. Different colors. All of them say the same thing. Hashtag a walking testimony on one side and hashtag you matter on the other side. All of them say the same thing, but yeah, we got different colors and stuff like that. My bracelets are a donation a piece. If you ever see me out and about and want to get one, whatever you feel led. If we do ship them out, they are a $5 shipping fee, but we do have that. Guys, I also have a website. Might be hard to see. KyndalRay.com, just in case you can't see that. KyndalRay.com. That's my merch website, guys. I have hoodies and different things like that. And on my A Walking Testimony Facebook page specifically, there is a featured post right under my bio, right above my most recent post that I did, and right under the bio and picture. There's always a featured post for taking names for the next edition of the shirt. So if you have lost a loved one and would like them to be remembered on an edition of this shirt, it does not cost to put the name on it, but we do have the shirts available for purchase afterwards if you would. The shirts are not available until 180 names are submitted for each edition, so sometimes it can take a while to get an edition done. Sometimes there's 180 names submitted within a week, and it's just so sad because of they're our loved ones. It's not just random people, guys. It's our fathers, our mothers, our brothers, our sisters, our sons, daughters, aunts, uncles, cousins, loved ones, spouses, best friends, and all of the above. And it's just such an important thing to shed light on. But I do have the merch. I also sell bumper stickers. They all say hashtag you matter, $5 a piece. Little stickers, hashtag you matter, $2 a piece. But that's not the important thing, guys. The important thing is that I am fundraising for nonprofit Addict to Athlete. I do not receive any of the funds donated through their donor box, which you can find the links in most of my bios through my social medias and things like that. And we have over 11 grand raised on a $50,000 goal, and we hope to exceed that $50,000 goal in the future. my merchandise and stuff like that does help me support myself on this journey towards food and lodging and different things like that. Now, people do reach out and bless with meals and things like that. I do want people to know I am employed and I do sell merch. I'm not out here to ask for free handouts. You will never see me ask. When people do reach out because maybe they've lost a loved one or maybe they're in recovery in themselves and they want to help and bless this journey, or they're inspired or this journey is encouraging to them and they reach out, guys, I do take a lot of offers. And I'm not specific, like if you're like, hey, will you take a picture in front of my thing? That's not kind of what I do. But if you reach out like, hey, we love to bless you, I'm going to come and take pictures and I'm going to show you love. And if you got a page, I'm going to tag your page and let you know, like, hey, thank you so much for the love and support on this journey. It was a pleasure meeting you. Because that's just kind of what I do. Once again, I'm not in the advertisement, but with the page that I have, especially for some restaurants and hotels and stuff, and it's worked before, they get some business from the kindness of people that work at those businesses that want to reach out for something as important as this journey. And I'm so very thankful and blessed for all the people that I've met and got to experience with that. What else do we got? Where do I sleep? That's another question I get a lot. Guys, I am employed and stuff, so I do stay in a lot of hotels. Sometimes people reach out with that lodging, like I just mentioned. I always have my tent and sleeping bag, like I mentioned, the supplies. I am prepared to camp. You might not see it a lot, especially because I had such a small following at the beginning. Beginning of the journey, I was camping all the time. I was digging fire pits. I was chopping down trees and all kinds of stuff. I don't do that as much anymore, but I am always prepared. And I have no problem roughing it, but I've been blessed with the opportunity that I don't have to. And as a content creator, digital creator through social media, running 5 social media accounts and doing everything I'm doing, it's easier for me to be able to document with that Wi-Fi and stuff like that and to upload videos, especially like this one. So that is kind of why I do that, to be able to have access to that. And as the journey grows, to have a little bit more privacy and security reasons as well. But I've slept in anywhere from people's RVs. I used to sleep in people's houses, but I don't do that anymore. I've slept in people's yards. I've slept in churches and basements and all kinds of different things. It's been pretty incredible. Tiny houses, a lot of cool Airbnbs and stuff like that. How will I get back home? Guys, even though I'm from the Jacksonville metro area of Florida, I'm not sure if that's where I'm moving after the journey. My girlfriend lives in Oklahoma, and even though I don't really want to move to her city, I would love for her to be able to travel with me one day, or us go somewhere else in the future, or we'll just see what the future even has in store. But who knows where this journey is going to go? I'm not on a time crunch. I'm just enjoying myself. This is my life. My life is on the road. My life is travel and spreading awareness for mental health and recovery while living my dream of walking across the country. And we're taking that to the extreme by walking to all 4 corners of the lower 48 states. And we want to do 100 miles on each continent. So, and one of the questions is, do people give you money? They do, but if somebody walks up on the side of the road and tries to hand me money, I'm gonna hand you a bracelet. I don't want people to think I'm out here for handouts, because that's not what it's about. Now, if somebody feels led and blessed and wants to, I don't want them to feel disrespected for me just turning it down. And sometimes that happens. Now, people also try to bring me supplies on the side of the road. Guys, when it comes to water and snacks and drinks, all my stuff goes in this cart and I have to live very minimally. Most of the time I hit a store the night before or the morning I'm heading out and I get exactly what I need for that day. I really can't carry extra like that. Now, people will bring shirts and souvenirs and stuff, and then as soon as I can, I will ship that home just to kind of document everything that people have blessed me with. But when it comes to regular food and water, please just don't go buy stuff for me and bring it. Please reach out just in case I might need it, but most of the time I don't. And if you do get it and I can't take it unless you are going to use it for yourself, I do encourage you to please, if you see somebody in the streets or somebody in need, please pay that stuff forward, because I am blessed and I don't want to take things that I don't need or I'm not going to be able to use when there is people in need that can use it. What has been my best state so far? It is a toss-up between Utah, Washington, Oregon, New Mexico. Now, as we get back to the southern hospitality over on this side of the states, guys, we have 8,100 miles in. We still got like 2,000 or 3,000 to go, quite a while. it's kind of unfair to even say right now, but my favorite individual spot on this journey of all times is Cape Flattery, Washington, the most northwestern point of the lower 48 states. Best and cool experience, guys. There's way too many things that have been offered, but I've been skydiving 3 times. I've been base jumping twice. I've been paragliding. I've done all kinds of stuff. I got one of the most special, actually, this will probably be the most special experience. On day 500 of the journey, being I only count the days I walk, on the days I actually walk, I was able to time it on my 31st birthday to walk across the Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco, California, and one of the last people to ever survive actually jumping off trying to take their life came out and walked across it with me. It was Thornton McKay. It was just such a special experience. That was absolutely amazing, guys. I've had a lot of cool adventures on this journey, but that one really does top it, especially this journey being for mental health and recovery. Do my legs ever hurt? All the time. They're always sore, but it's a workout sore, not a pain sore, and I'm used to it, so it's all good. My goal behind this walk, guys, if we can keep one person from putting a gun to their head and pulling the trigger, putting a needle in their arm, not knowing that they'll never wake up again, to encourage or inspire somebody to want to make a positive change in their life instead of heading down a path of destruction or to an early grave, using and abusing or dealing with mental health or depression or things like that. If we can inspire just one person to want to make a positive change. I know that there's nothing I can do to change anybody's lifestyle or mindset, but I do hope that this journey inspires at least one person. And I know many people have told me it has and that they've made positive changes, and that's amazing. But at the end of the day, I never know what the journey's actually done. I can only know what this journey's done for myself, even with what everybody tells me. I'm just so thankful that people participate. I'm so thankful that people have let me know that it has inspired them to want to make a positive change. I'm thankful for the people that have already made those positive changes, and we just want to keep it going. We want it to be a ripple effect. We want it to keep flowing and just spread as much love, kindness, and positivity and let you know that you matter and we do recover. And that's pretty much a little bit of the rundown, guys. If you ever have any more questions, please feel free to comment. If you see my email anywhere, you can email me questions or message me specifically on my Walking Testimony Facebook page. Every once in a while, but not that often, I check messages on other platforms, but my Walking Testimony Facebook page, I check messages daily and respond to messages within a day or two. Love y'all. You matter. We do recover. Please follow, share this journey. Let people know that we're out here for mental health and recovery. Don't follow and share for me, guys. Do it for mental health and recovery. Let's push it out to those algorithms. And you never know what anybody's going through. And let's be kind to people and ourselves and show each other grace and mercy and love. Peace out.